Wonderful process to go through and meet with senators and talk to them, especially members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, whose passion is the Defense Department, and our warfighters, to hear what they want to do to make sure that department is properly oriented for the threats of the world and make sure that we're putting the warfighters first. That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Your job is to bring a warfighting ethos back to the Pentagon. Your job is to make sure that it's lethality, lethality, lethality. Everything else is gone. Everything else that distracts from that shouldn't be happening. That's the message I'm hearing from senators in that advise and consent process. It's been a wonderful process.
They're not upset about your drinking?
You know what? There's an interesting one there. First of all, I've never had a drinking problem. No one's ever approached me and said, "Oh, you should really look at getting help for a drink." Never. I've never sought counseling, never sought help. I respect and appreciate people who do. But, what do guys do when they come back from war oftentimes? Have some beers. How do you deal with the demons you see on the battlefield? Sometimes it's with a bottle. Unfortunately, tragically, for too many guys, it's with the bottle, and then it's depression, and even worse, suicide. I mean, we've got an epidemic of that in our country. Thank God, by the grace of God, I found my chapters of purpose that pulled me out of that. I found, in many ways, I found two things. My two J's, my Jenny, my wife Jennifer, changed my life, saved me. There's just no doubt about it. And my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And without those two J's, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But with those two J's, like my mom said this morning, and I didn't get a chance to see all of it, but God bless my mom, I'm a very different person than I was 10 years ago, than I was 15 years ago. But I'm also the right guy to be in the Pentagon to understand what our young warfighters are going through. What we send them to do, what we ask them to do, tour after tour after tour after tour. Are we equipping them properly? Are they mentally prepared? Are we helping them on the way back? How are they transitioning? Were they used properly? I can speak to that because I've lived it. Not from a general's perspective, not from an air-conditioned office in Washington, D.C., or from a think tank, from dusty boots and pulling triggers with bullets whizzing by, and you're wondering whether you're ever coming home.
But what's interesting is the national media, the CNN, the MSNBC, all those CBS, all those folks all talk about people as if they've met them. Mm-hmm. All of us get the privilege of actually getting a chance to be able to meet them and to be able to walk through that. So there's all the noise that's out there. Then there's actually what's happening on the Hill as people are one by one getting a chance to be able to meet with folks, as I'm doing later on today with several different nominees. So let's let everybody walk through the process on this and actually do the constitutional responsibility. President Trump, like every other president, has the right to be able to hire his staff and to be able to pick the people around him. I have that right to be able to hire the people around him, but the Senate also has a role in key people in what's called advice and consent. Very often, everybody is put in place on that, but there'll be a couple of folks that'll go through the process that there'll be a few senators that'll say no to. At this point, let it play out. Let's get past the media noise and let's actually do the constitutional process, and let's actually support the president and who he's actually trying to be able to pick to put next to him to be able to actually turn the country around.